Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to all my cloud scholars out there. This is the SC-100 course, and in this video, we are going to dive into blueprints. So, as always, we have to define what we are learning. So, what are Azure blueprints? So, they're a service that enables repeatable Azure environment deployments, helps enforce governance and compliance, combines policies, role assignments, ARM templates, and resource groups into one package. So what can a blueprint include? So it can include role assignments like reader, contributor roles, policy assignments, tag and location restrictions, Azure Resource Manager, ARM templates, and then also resource groups. So what's the life cycle of a blueprint? You have to create a blueprint, publish it, assign the blueprint to a subscription, and track compliance. So blueprints versus ARM templates versus policies. So, well, let's start from the very top. Azure Blueprints, governance layer, yep. There's a deploy resources, yes. It assigns roles, and then also compliance view. ARM templates does not have a governance layer. You can use it with governance. It does deploy resources, doesn't assign roles or compliance view. And then Azure Policies does have a governance layer, does not deploy any resources, assigns roles, and then compliance view, right? So not to get confused, Azure Policies can do certain stuff. It can, prevent resources from being deployed if they do not have certain configurations and things of that nature. So this is a quick chart about just how powerful blueprints are within your environment. So governance at a scale. So essentially, when you're using blueprints, or if you're setting up landing zones and things of that nature, what you want to do is you may have to set up a bunch of different ones. So you might have 20, 30, 40, or whatever the case may be. But how easy is it going to be if, let's say, you set up a subscription and then you have somebody else set up a subscription and doing a certain administrative task? There's a good chance that somebody's going to be one off, or you both are going to forget some stuff. So think of blueprints as a way for you to design your environment before the environment even exists. So if you're thinking from an architectural standpoint, they come up with blueprints and look over the blueprints with different architects so that they can now make sure that when they do design and start implementing and building the building or whatever structure that they are building, that it makes sense and it meets the codes, right? It meets compliance. And also, most of all, that it's safe for somebody to live in that building. That's the same thing for blueprints, but what you're doing here from a Azure or cloud perspective is making sure that you have these guardrails in place for your environment. And one of the good things about blueprints is you can scope them out to specific areas in your environment. Some of the use cases for blueprints are, naming conventions and location restrictions. So let's say you are in a company that can only have resources deployed in the US. So that would be a location restriction that you would need to be enforced. Then you can automatically apply security baselines, deploy a fully compliant landing zone for a dev team. So you want to make sure that that environment is golden, that passes and has the green check mark in all different areas. So this way now your developers can go in there and you don't really have to worry about if they're doing anything incorrect, because the environment is now make sure lock and key so that this way they can't do anything they're not supposed to. There are also apply role-based access consistency and enforcing a tagging strategy if you need to do that. So some of the benefits of blueprints is repeatability of compliant environments, centralized governance, time saving for new environment deployment, and audit-friendly deployment history as well. So that wraps up for blueprints. That was a quick video introduction to what Azure blueprints are. In the next video, I'm going to show you how you can go about setting up your Azure blueprint. And what we are going to do is we're going to use some use cases, right? So we're going to take two of these different things, location restriction and probably role-based access consistency, and we're going to set up a blueprint so that you could see how that works, and you could use it in your own environment. Now, one thing, some of you who have some understanding of things like Terraform, Blueprints, Terraform is another product that you can use where they have modules, and you can have these modules be reusable. So this way you can apply it to different environments. So Blueprint is just one tactic that you can use in order to govern and structure your environment in a way that you can review it via code or via artifact, and then make sure that you have a governance team looking over that, and then you can now implement it without having to worry. But there are a number of different products out there from a cloud perspective. Right now, we are talking about Blueprint. This is proprietary to the Azure Microsoft ecosystem, but there are other tools as well. So I'd be remiss to kind of talk to you about Blueprints without, mentioning, some other tools like Terraform, which is a very huge tool out there that you can use as well. But we're talking about SC-100. That will not be on the test. But as always, I try to educate the viewers as much as possible, and kind of give you all that I know. So this way you can be better and you can obtain the job, or even go for a new role, or help you in the role that you are in. That's just my goal personally. So I want to thank you for watching. I hope the information was beneficial. Here at Cloud Scholars, my goal is to get you from scholar to consultant, and of course, consultant to expert. Thank you, and see you next time.